From Vision to Showcase is a series of interviews where I will be interviewing artists from the Edom Art House so that viewers like you can determine more about what makes these artists tick and what inspires these artists to create. I hope you enjoy the interview. So tell me about that.
So this is one of my older styles. What I used to do is I would make commissions of like people's last names or their names. And then I would ask them to give me about 20 different objects that they feel like a connection to or that means something to them. And then I would just put the little objects around their name. These were fun. And I kind of hid little things about me in there. Like I'm a trumpet player. My trumpets are good.
Carina, how long have you been an artist?
Typical since I was little, but I did start taking it serious in 2011 when I went to TJC. I did paint when I was in high school, but I never showed anyone. I was very private about it.
What did you study at TJC?
I had a scholarship with the band and I played trumpet. So I just got my associates and I was in art classes so much that Derek White and all the art teachers or professors were like, you might as well be an art major. So I ended up doing that. I got my art associates.
You have a unique color palette. I think a lot of people are drawn to your vibrant pastel style. So what are you inspired by?
Every year since I was little, we would go back to Mexico. And I mean, like their houses are so vibrant and colorful. I don't know, I'm just so attractive to colors, and it is a challenge to get people to take your colors serious when they're that childish and colorful. So it's kind of like a childhood memory and my culture.
I see that you paint a lot of cowboys and Western themes. Tell me a little bit about that.
Ever since I was little, my dad was a team roper. I was taken out of school a lot to go to team roping events. He's very good. That was very often. And my childhood was mostly that. And then horses and whatnot. The Western is just kind of like my childhood and me being Hispanic and then growing up in rodeos.
Is anyone else in your family artistic?
I think all of them are.
Oh.
My brother, he used to actually draw and sell his drawings in high school. And he's really, really good at realism. And then my sister was also really good. And my dad is creative in other ways, but I guess I'm the only one that kind of like took it past like a hobby.
That's cool. Are your parents proud of you?
They are. It was hard for them to understand, coming from like a first generation Hispanic, for them to understand that you can actually like make it a career, a business. But now that I show my mom like how things are done, she's super proud.
Do you think that your art career has gone the way that you'd anticipated?
No.
What's happened?
So I had an office job and I had to quit it because it was very, very stressful. So my husband told me like, quit it and focus on your art. But at the time I had no structure, no direction on how to take my art career. But then there was one year where I had to go back to a job and I was like, okay, it's either I go back to a job or I take this art thing very, very serious. And so I started to look at art as a business. You have to network, you have to know how to charge your worth and like keep up with everything.
Speaking of charging your worth, how do you go about pricing your pieces?
Pricing pieces starts with the dimension, but also I see like before I used to work with lower end paint, and then after time I started getting higher end and higher end. That takes into place, and also like the time that I take working on something. But yeah, I have been updating like my paint and stuff like that in canvases. I take that into account on how to price.
Absolutely. So when you start investing in higher dollar or higher quality material, then obviously you want to charge more for your work. I totally understand that. So if you had to tell young Carina 3 things about where you are today, what would you tell yourself to get you started?
Keep going. And even though you're embarrassed of the drawings and you know they're not good enough, like you have to go through that path. Like no one just comes out with perfection, and stop being shy. But yeah, I think she would be very surprised and happy.
I think that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for taking time out to watch this interview. If something in this interview inspired you, please consider sharing and head over to edomarthouse.com to find more interviews like this and to stay on top of what we've got going on here. And if you are someone who loves the art world, you may want to consider joining our email list. So again, head over to edomarthouse.com for more information now.